Hi everybody, this is Black Lion. Now today I want to answer one of my subscribers, Mbanga. Yeah, Mbanga, if I get it right. Now you asked how you can get a cleaning job, and you mentioned two actually. You said cleaning and housemaid or housekeeping. Now I admire the fact that you have come directly and you already know what you want, and this is something that you need advice before you can proceed, or you're already probably here. I don't know yet that, but this video is to answer your question. Just so for those who don't know or new to my channel, I share relevant experience about how to survive in Dubai, and most of the time my subscribers ask questions they need help on, and I jump out of the way and make it personal and try to do some research and give them the right information. So today's discussion, still, it's about one of my subscribers who asked for specifically for cleaning and housekeeping jobs. This is what I have to tell you. First of all, now that you have decided what you want to do, it's a big plus, by the way, on your side. You know what you want to do. It doesn't matter what it is that you want to do. You know what you want, you go for it. So that's what I admire about that, and this is what I'm going to give you. So the first option would be the cleaning jobs. Now, if you want cleaning jobs, first of all, you gotta be in the UAE. This is the first thing that you have to do. Make sure that you're around, because if you're not around, who are they be giving these jobs to and who is searching? So rule number one, be around. Now, once you're around, you make sure that you make your applications to the right people. Now, the best thing to do, or the best practices you can do for this type of situation, is you look for exactly cleaning jobs. Now, in the description below, I'm going to give you a link where I've summarized all the top 10 that are active. Now usually on Google they're available, and this is the most reliable source that you can find, because the phone numbers are actually there. The people are ready to answer your question. So if you're looking for cleaning jobs, check the bottom of the description, and first of all, look out all this, search only for cleaning jobs in the UAE, and don't stop, because when you do like that, you're specializing, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to get it. Most likely you're going to increase the chances you're going to get it much faster than somebody who would be looking for different types of jobs. All right, okay, so that's number one for cleaning jobs. Also in the description in cleaning, I put in a couple of searches. I did a couple of searches and found some of the jobs that are active. Perhaps you can find the links in the description and click onto them and go into them. Some of them are Indeed, some of them are on Dubizzle, but my tip from before other videos, always go for the ones that have contacts on them, because then you will know there and then if you have a chance or if you don't have a chance. So that it is for cleaning. All right, so next, another search term that you can look for is housekeeping. Now look for housekeeping jobs. Now housekeeping is a bit broad in a way that you can be a housekeeper under a company, or you can be a housekeeper directly in the households. Okay, so these housekeeping jobs can also be in hotels. Now for that, I've also put a link to the descriptions where you can find a couple of them. Just this is an example of what you need to do. It doesn't mean this is what you're going to get. It just means that this is the idea that you need to follow. Your search should follow this structure if you want it to be successful. So you list down all these places that are looking for housekeeping, and then you start to call them. Remember, look at the ones that have contacts, and don't forget that the ones that have contacts will give you there and then feedback, so you don't waste time. All right, so that's for housekeeping. Now the third category is the housemaid. Actually, I'm talking about housemaid. So if you want to be a housemaid, and this is something that you have decided that you want to go into, I want to first give you a background onto this subject. It doesn't matter which part of the world you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in US. It doesn't matter if in Europe, in Africa, even in your home country. For as long as you're going to work in a domestic setting, just be prepared for some of the challenges, because you're in personal space, and there's some of these things that are difficult to regulate and to monitor. So if you have that background, be prepared for that, and be strong enough and be courageous enough to go through it. Before, domestic workers were under the Ministry of Interior. Now that has changed. From my observation, I see that right now as we speak, the entire maid platform, housemaid or housekeeping or domestic worker platform has now been moved to under Ministry of Emiratization and Human Resources. That's Ministry of Labor. So right now, the same kind of contract that you'll be working on would be the same kind of contract that everybody else is getting in the UAE. Doesn't matter if you're manager, CEO, whatever it is, everybody's managed under Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratization. So that would be the Ministry of Labor. So the same applies to the domestic workers now. This has now moved to that section. So what does that, imply for those who are now looking? What does that change mean? Does it make it easier to find jobs now? Does it make it more professional? Or does it make it more stable when you're already employed in domestic kind of work? Great. Now, what I believe is, right now, by changing it to that, disputes will be much easier to handle. And the division that is handling this is actually called Tadbeer. It's Tadbeer. So previously there were different domestic worker companies, but all of these have been somehow already abolished in a way, and now have been replaced by Tadbeer Centres. So, and this went through a lot of strict regulations that for somebody to be able to own or to run a Tadbeer Centre, there's so strict regulations that they're supposed to uphold, and most of them, majority of them could not keep up to the standards and were closed. So if you cannot, you sell it off to somebody who can actually keep up to the standard. So as we speak, Tadbeer Centres are now all over the country, and you can do two things. Some of them will accept you to apply directly, all right? Some of them will accept you to apply directly, like you say, I have my CV and I want to become a domestic worker. So just walk into any of the Tadbeer Centres, maybe in Ajman, Ras Al Khaimah, in Dubai, so many of them around Dubai and Sharjah. All these Tadbeer Centres are available so that they can recruit workers to go work in domestic work. So that's the good news about it, that you can now have a regulated system that you can have with contracts, with definite sign periods, with leaves and all these things. All of these things have been made sure that they can now happen. So what does it mean to you, right down to you yourself? You can do two things. Since you know what you want to do housekeeping, and if it has to be a domestic kind of work and it's housekeeping, you can actually avoid now going to the agencies, all right? You can do it yourself directly. Now, there are some Tadbeers that are actually accepting you if you're already in the UAE. You can just walk into this Tadbeer Centre or give them a call, and they'll give you how you could, some of them will tell you, this is the email address, send your CV and then address it to the HR, and then we will call you. And so you can do this directly and apply through a center that is legitimate, and then you can be able to get yourself a housemaid job. That's option number one. Now, for those who really cannot do some sort of searches and all that, still other Tadbeer Centres are open, but they're still accepting from home country, which means that those who are already coming and recruited through agents from their home countries, and they're being serviced in this Tadbeer Centre. So those are the two options that you have. So if you can't find the one that is getting through an agent from home country, then another option would be, if you're already in the UAE, you already have your visit visa that is valid, you can walk into these Tadbeer Centres and make your application. Right, so I hope somehow this would provide a clearer picture for you. For those who want to still use agents, by your choice. I mean, you got money you want to spend, you can spend, but at the end of the day, what will you do in order to get your results first? The beauty about it, this is the end of the discussion. If you have more, this is a topic that we would love to talk more and more and more. And if you have joined and you're new in this channel and you have watched up till now, I try to make the videos short, but what can I do when the topic is really it requires a lot of intel. Okay, so if you have moved up to now, thank you very much, and keep on. There's a lot of content that you can learn from, you can advise, and you can participate on. This is a common platform that we can share. Otherwise, cheers and thank you for being with me until now. Bye.